Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening's vodcast, the ABC of Paranormal Strangeness, with your hosts, Renata Daniel, that would be me, from Newcastle Ghost Tours, and the gorgeous, as always, Anne Rakovich from Oz Paratech. And tonight we are dealing with the letter W for werewolves and Willow Court Asylum. Welcome, everyone.
So I suppose this is where I add us in.
Yeah.
Hello! As I drop the banner and say hello.
Welcome, everyone. How are you? I'm frozen.
Are you cold,
It's
are you?
cold outside.
It is rather chilly.
Yeah, it's probably the first really cold day and evening that I've experienced ever since, winter hit. Hello, Veronica. Welcome.
Hi,
Good
Wendy.
evening.
Hi, Ron. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mick.
So this is the night that we try to educate people.
Yeah, no tarot readings.
And watch the numbers drop.
Tarot. No tarot
Some
readings.
tarot. Hi, Mick. How are you? How's little Ella going? Is she okay?
Hello, Jodie.
Hi, Jodie.
Ashley.
Linda.
Hello, everyone.
Oops, I skipped a few there.
Welcome.
Everyone's coming on. We're just giving people a chance to jump on. The other Jodie, Jodie 1 and Jodie 2.
Courtney. Hello. Hello,
Hi,
Karen.
Karen.
Must be freezing out by the water.
Hi, Joanne. Penny. Lorna Gay. Have you got your clothes back on yet, love?
Hello.
She went bushwalking in the nude the other day, but she does live in Queensland,
Yeah.
where it might be possible.
I did get a message from someone up in North Queensland this afternoon to say that it was still about 30 degrees Celsius up there.
Oh, there's one. We've got one already. Christopher, tonight is the ABC of Paranormal Strangeness, where we educate. So Thursday
Yeah,
night
my darling.
is our tarot readings.
Come back on
We
Thursday.
do so many things.
Yeah, Christopher left a message on Messenger, and we just didn't see that. We don't see the messages while we're doing the lives. You have to actually come back onto the live feed and
Now,
bring your questions there.
I have to warn you, my asthma has been really playing up. It's not Rona. And my husband just bought me this vile stuff to drink, which is Seneca and ammonia. And it's okay while it's going down as long as you don't breathe. But as soon as you stop to let the air come in, it tastes like the smell of cat piss.
Welcome
Really
to
vile.
all of our newbies. Hello, Jose.
Oh, thank you
Lovely
for
to
watching.
see you.
Now, look, we need your help, guys. We need to know how to make our YouTube numbers grow. Because that's where we need to get more people on watching. And we just don't know how to get those numbers up. We're certainly producing the content, but we're just not quite sure.
You're going to have to take your
Anyway.
clothes off, Ed.
No, I don't think that will help at all.
I think it will. I think they'll just come by to watch.
Hi, Christine. It's not reading night tonight. That's Thursday night. So I will be coughing and hacking. I'm drinking my apple cider vinegar juice and sipping on Seneca and ammonia cat piss and wheezing like nothing else. It's freezing in South Australia as well. I imagine it would be. So that's Ashley. We're just waiting till everyone gets on and then we're going to kick off. Oh, God. Oh, no, Natalie.
There have been photos on Facebook with orbs. Oh, well, they all come from outer space, Natalie.
Oh, no,
So
no,
they're all UFOs. They're all little spaceship UFOs.
YouTube premieres will work. Mick, you may have to instruct us. Try links on your Facebook and Instagram pages to... Yep, okay, we can try that.
To the
Thank you.
videos.
Yep.
Okay,
it's
well,
all
we'll
right.
try
I
that.
speak Nancy, so it's all good. Do live streams off. Yes, we are. We're actually streaming to YouTube right now. Every time, because we have StreamYard, we're actually streaming to 5 locations at the one time, and one of those is Facebook.
Jose wants a picture of you.
Oh my God, Jose.
I'll send a pic of me naked. That
Yeah,
will do it.
We'll have to be photoshopping.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jose. I hope you've got a fig leaf.
She'll hold them down here for cover her boobs.
No, for him. He wants to send us a picture.
Oh, send a pic of me naked. That would do it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I hope that's what you mean.
To get our YouTube numbers up. So, What are your favourite werewolf shows? Tell me the werewolf shows that you absolutely love. I know I love that Werewolf in London, American Werewolf in London was a good
That's
one.
as old as the hills. What
Sorry?
year was that made in?
Oh God, that was an 80s.
1945?
It's not as old as you. You fell into that one. Oh, thank you, Elise, for watching from YouTube. I appreciate it.
God,
Teen Wolf. Oh my God, that's right.
Patricia might be on it. If you missed last Thursday night, we had the delightful Comquatisha from New York.
Oh, Comquatisha!
She promised-
Washington, D.C. She was.
She promised so much but gave so little.
She did offer jobs in the porn industry, but that's okay.
Oh dear.
Vampire Diaries. Was there werewolves in that?
What about the
Oh, yes, of
sparkling?
course.
Yeah, the sparkling
Yes,
ones.
Vampire Diaries. The Twilight.
Twilight movies. They
Yeah,
have vampires.
there's Twilight there, we've got
werewolves, don't
Twilight.
they? Yeah.
The originals. Yes, it's always seems to be these vampires versus werewolves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Harry Potter, of course. And
Remus.
yes, the British version of Being Human was my absolute favourite. The guy that played the werewolf, the unsuspecting werewolf in that one, was fantastic. If you haven't seen that, guys, look it up.
I haven't.
Oh, haven't you?
No, I've never seen it. I've never heard of that.
It's about a werewolf, a vampire, and someone else all sharing a house together in London.
Oh.
And in the modern day. It's fantastic. And Michael J. Fox was in Teen Wolf.
Absolutely. Don't worry, guys. I've been with her all day. I'd be really sick by now if it was.
It's not that. Buffy! Oh, Underworld! That was my daughter's favourite. And the movies are still coming. They keep going and going. I used to be a werewolf, but I'm already... Ooh. Okay. Oh, Van Helsing, yes. The Order, currently on Netflix, has magic and werewolves.
Oh.
And Ebony agrees.
The Order. I haven't heard of that one either. I'll have to look that one up. Or is that a full of teenagers, Jodie? I like my actors just a little bit older than 20.
No, not better yet. It would help if I stopped, but need to make shirts for Vic saying fully good. Okay. Oh yeah, Supernatural had some werewolves in it as well. Now am I starting off? Or do you want to start off while
you have done very well up till this point, so go right ahead.
Okay, I've got some werewolf jokes for you.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you call a werewolf with no legs?
I don't know.
Anything you like, he can't chase you.
Oh God.
That was clean. I think I shocked her. I did find some very interesting things on the urban, what was it, dictionary?
Urban Dictionary.
To the point that I don't even think I can read these out on the internet. Might have to leave that till a little bit later. I mean, make sure there's no children around. Because there's some very interesting things that the werewolf and angry werewolf refer to.
Oh.
Yes.
Am I missing something? Is that a whole generational thing?
Must be. I think
because the Urban Dictionary kind of,
yeah, and I missed the whole teabagging era as well. So I remember somebody referring to teabagging, and I've gone, what? Did they talk about having a cup of tea or what? And then I had to look it up and went, oh.
I'm not sure about that one. Tell me later.
Okay.
My glasses are fogging
I
up.
can give you one of them, okay? This is called the werewolf. Being so sexually depraved that you'll shag anything, no matter how ugly or ransom. There is a cure for it, which I don't want to read out, but if you think about something about Mary before it goes on the date, that's the cure for it. And if you put it in, they call it post-nut clarity, apparently, if you do that before you go on a date. But if you use it in a sentence so you get an idea of the werewolf. Oi, mush! The werewolf came out last night. Fuck some ugly person from Tinder. The other one's worse. Not going to do that right now.
Oh, my head already hurts.
All right. So I think most of us know a lot about the werewolf legend and how you become a werewolf and what repels werewolves
How
and
do you become a werewolf?
you get bitten by another werewolf.
Oh, is that the only way? Because it's like a vampire thingy, isn't it?
Yeah. You got to be bitten by a vampire to become a vampire.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's I went to have a look to see where it originated from because I thought that would be really interesting. Mm-hmm. Get your pillows out, everyone. We'll have a snooze. And look, to be totally honest, we haven't had much time to prepare. This is what our sixth interview or podcast or something in the last 5 days, and we're a little bit rat shit.
Another couple to go. We're supposed to be talking.
Got 2
Salmon.
tomorrow. Sure, the voice will hold up. While we're waiting, another joke. What do you get if you cross a werewolf and a pet dog?
Oh God, I don't know what.
A terrified postman.
Oh, that one's okay. That was all right.
Yep. Yeah, but see, people have missed you, Jose. I don't know where you've been, but we have missed you.
He's been busy flogging his body online to see if anybody will take it up.
Anyway, it's really quite fascinating how far back the werewolf actually goes. Now,
How far back does it go?
Well,
Ed?
if you had to think, we talk about BC and AD, do you think it would be which side of that Jesus zero?
The before?
Yeah, how far before?
Oh God. I don't know, 1,000 years?
Try 2,100 years.
What?
First reference to a werewolf.
Really?
I shocked her. Oh, she's almost that old. I thought she'd know. She had a pet werewolf when she was little. The werewolf is a staple of supernatural fiction, whether it be film, television, or literature. You might think this snarling creature is a creation of medieval and early modern periods as a result of superstition surrounding magic and witchcraft. In reality, the werewolf is far older. The earliest surviving example of man-to-wolf transformations is found in, I'm sure you're all going to rush out and read this, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Oh, from about 2,100 BC.
That's a favourite. That's a page turner. That one.
Oh, interestingly enough, there's a reference to one of the other guys we mentioned in another show.
Right.
However, the werewolf, as we know it, first appeared in ancient Greece and Rome in ethnographic, poetic, and philosophical text.
Wow,
I got it out. These stories of the transformed beast are usually mythological, although some have basis in local histories, religions, and cults. In 425 BC, Greek historian Herodotus.
Or Herodotus. Definitely.
Herodotus, it's an O. Gonna be one of those nights. Described
his brother.
Described the Yuri, a nomadic tribe of magical men who changed into wolf shapes for several days of the year. No mention of the full moon, please note. The Yuri were from Scythia.
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 They were Scythians.
Land that is now part of Russia. Mm-hmm. Using wolf skins for warmth, if not outside the realm of possibility for inhabitants of such harsh climate, this is the likely reason Herodotus described their practice as a transformation. They simply threw on a wolf coat and they saw that as magical that they became wolves.
Yes. Well, geez, that's part of pagan mythology, isn't it?
A Woolworths. Woolworth. What the hell is in this shit?
Woolworths, give me some.
No, a werewolf in a German woodcut was found in 1512.
Oh, was that painful?
The werewolf became... Hang on, oh my God. The werewolf myth became integrated with local history of Arcadia, a region of Greece. Here, Zeus was worshipped as a Lycian Zeus, a wolf Zeus.
Oh.
In 380 BC, Greek philosopher. Plato, I'll put my teeth in, told a story in the Republic about the protector turned tyrant of the shrine of Lycian Zeus. In this short passage, the character Socrates remarks, the story goes
You can do this.
that he who tastes of the one bit of human entrails minced up with those of other victims is inevitably transformed into a wolf. So I wonder if that's where the idea of being bitten by a wolf turns you into a wolf. Mm-hmm. But that's where he's eating you. Mm-hmm. Mm. That could lead to a whole new urban legend, couldn't it? Being eaten by a werewolf. This is not going to go well. All right, now we're coming up to a reference of one person we've heard of before in another show, and I think it might have been in Poltergeists.
Right.
Literary evidence suggests cult members mixed human flesh into their ritual sacrifices to Zeus. Both Pliny the Elder...
Yes.
Remember Pliny?
No, we will.
And his mate...
He used to go over to his place for barbecues.
Don't eat the mince patties. Don't. Oh, God. Hang on.
We have to start getting serious about this.
Why? Pausanias, right? So the Pliny and Pausanias discussed the participation of a young... Adelaide, it's going to get worse.
God!
Robbie, I can't breathe.
Anything normal. Oh, sorry. This is serious. This is serious paranormal discussion.
Yep. People look up to us in the community. Okay. Right. Can you hear my rattles? I've lost my spot. Right. We're talking about the Arcadian sacrifice of an adolescent boy.
Oh, as you do. Right.
A young athlete when... I'm scared to say it. Demarachus. Sounds like a dance move. Was compelled to taste the entrails of the younger boy. He was transformed into a wolf for 9 years. Recent archaeological evidence suggests that human sacrifice may have been practiced on this site. Now, wasn't it back in the Roman times they had the she-wolf, and there is actually the two babies were
Romulus and Remus
nurtured on the breast milk of a she-wolf.
That's right. We saw one in Romania, actually.
Did we?
Yes, there was. There's a statue.
Oh, a statue. I was going to say wolf. I don't remember the wolf. I remember seeing the dead bear, which was very distressing. Yeah. They'd shot it. Monsters and men. Right. Okay, the most interesting aspect of Plato's passage concerns the protector turned tyrant, also known as the mythical king Lycaon.
Oh.
Lycaon. Expanded further into Latin texts, most notably Hyginus's, Fabulae, and Ovid's Metamorphoses. Lycaon's story contains all the elements of modern werewolf tale, immoral behaviour, murder and cannibalism, an Athenian vase depicting a man in a wolf skin from 460 BC.
All right.
Now, I remember one of the stories that went back quite a way too was one of the people that one of the goddesses wanted to mate with, but he refused to because she was well known for turning men into wolves.
Oh.
Which one was that?
I don't know. Does anyone know who the goddess was?
In Fabulae, the sons of Lycaon.
Was that the name of a place, Fabulae?
I don't know. I'm just reading this shit out. Okay. As I said, lots of preparation gone into this one. The sons of Lycaon sacrificed their youngest brother to prove Zeus's weakness. Now, this is an interesting story. They served a corpse as a pseudo-feast in attempting to trick the god into eating it. Now, the thought was they didn't believe this person who was claiming to be the god was a god. So they decided to feed him human flesh to see if he truly was a god, that he would know. Right?
He'd know what?
that it was human flesh that they were going to serve. A furious Zeus slayed the sons with a lightning bolt and transformed their father into a
Werewolf.
wolf.
Oh, wolf.
In Ovid's version, Lycaon murdered and mutilated a protected hostage of Zeus. These are lovely people.
Yeah, well, the gods did funky things like marry their daughters and have other gods and all of that sort of stuff, and
So Zeus did the same back to him, what he did to the hostage. Ovid's passage is one of the only ancient sources that goes into detail on the act of transformation.
Was it the back passage or front passage?
You know what I used to love watching on TV was the transformation in the movies when they would transform the human into the werewolf. And some of the earlier ones are hilarious.
Fabulous.
You could see them pasting on the fur from between one shot to the next. But then as technology's grown and they could CGI stuff, they like you can actually see their skin and everything change and morph, and I love it. Okay, so this is the description of the metamorphosis using haunting language. Oh, I'm going to speak the words now. He tried to speak, but his voice broke into an echoing howl. His ravening soul infected his jaws. His murderous longings were turned on the cattle. At least it weren't turned on by the cattle. He still was possessed by bloodlust. His garments were changed to a shaggy coat and his arms into legs. He was now transformed into a wolf. Isn't that just great?
Oh, doesn't that do things to you?
Oh, it does. I have to go and change myself.
Spine.
Ovid's Lycaon in the original is the original of the modern werewolf as the physical manipulation of his body hinges on his prior immoral behaviour. So they're trying to link it with immoral behaviour. It is that has contributed to the establishment of the monstrous werewolf trope of modern fiction. Character defects are physically grafted onto the body, manipulating his human form until he becomes that which his behaviour suggests.
Oh.
So they're acting like an animal, so they turn them into an animal.
Oh, they could have picked something else rather than a wolf. I like wolves.
Oh, okay. The idea that there was a link between biology, like their appearance, and immoral behaviour developed fully in the late 20th century. American Werewolf.
Hang in there, Beck. It's okay. We've got you. We're talking about werewolves. She says, "What on earth did I walk into?"
Boy, I got subtitles now. I've got to read OCD. Okay, you can turn them off. It's not us. You just click on those little three dots and you get rid of them. All right, so for as long as authors have been changing bad men into wolves, we've been looking for a biological link between man and action. Okay, infamous werewolves. You wanted some infamous werewolf stories?
Yes, please.
Would you like another werewolf joke before we go on?
Yes, please.
What did the cowboy say when the werewolf ate his dog?
What?
Well, dog gone! Dog gone? Dog gone? Okay. I'll just keep reading on about infamous werewolves. Oh, okay. Many so-called werewolves from centuries ago were in fact serial killers. They thought that they were using this werewolf as an excuse for serial killers to, they'd say, oh, well, I became a wolf and I murdered those people. It wasn't really me.
Right.
Anyway, and France had its share. From 1521, Frenchmen Pierre Bergol and Michel Verdun allegedly swore allegiance to the devil. The bloody devil's got in there again.
Always.
And claimed to have an ointment that turned them into wolves. After confessing to brutally murdering several children, they were both burned to death at the stake.
Oh.
I thought the burning was one of the few ways to kill werewolves. But we all know it's a silver bullet or a silver blade. They don't like silver. Anyway. Giles Garnier, known as the Werewolf of Dole.
Doesn't he make hair products?
Well, funny you should say that. was another 16th century Frenchman whose claim to fame was also an ointment.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That produces hair.
Well, look,
well, werewolf
we're
hair.
all washing our hair with werewolf stuff.
Yeah, with wolf morphing abilities, according to legend. As a wolf, he viciously killed children and ate them.
Just disgusting.
There's like a pattern happening here.
I do.
What is it with these French men that are going off murdering children and eating them?
I know, maybe too
with
many.
werewolf ointments.
I know, right?
Excuse my voice.
Behind the ears.
Okay, he too was burned at the stake.
So it should have been.
Fitting punishment. Whether Burgot, Verdun, or Garnier were mentally ill, acted under influence of a hallucinogenic substance, or simply were cold-blooded killers is up for debate. Has much really changed today?
No. Except they can't use the excuse of werewolves.
But it's likely didn't matter to superstitious Europeans during the 16th century. To them, such heinous crimes would only be committed by such a horrific beast as a werewolf. So look up the Bedburg werewolf, which is Peter Stubb. Stubby. A wealthy 15th century farmer in Bedburg, Germany.
Oh, those weird Germans.
Peter and the wolf, no?
No.
No, the different song. Peter was eventually blamed for the gruesome killings after being cornered by hunters who claimed they saw him shape-shift from wolf to human form. He experienced a grisly execution after confessing under torture. How useful are confessions under torture?
Oh, very. Yes. We trust every single one of them.
Yes, we will keep torturing you till you confess.
Absolutely.
They claim they saw him shapeshift. Now I've got the hiccups. He experienced a grisly execution after confessing under torture to savagely killing animals, men, women, and children, and eating their remains.
Well, look, in those days, people were starving. I know that, but
You can eat grass before you eat the women, children, and... Sorry, I swallowed my human too quickly. He also declared he owned an enchanted belt.
Of course.
That gave him the power to transform into a wolf at will. Not surprisingly, the belt was never found.
Because it was enchanted, for God's sake. It would disappear whenever he wanted to. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you.
Oh, hi, Michael.
Hello.
We've gone slightly batty since you last saw us. More so than normal. Peter's guilt is controversial since some people believe he wasn't a killer but the victim of a political witch hunt. Fancy that! A political witch hunt. Who would have thought?
Never. Absolutely not.
Or perhaps even a werewolf hunt. Anyway. Circumstances surrounding his life and death stoked rampant fears at the time that werewolves were on the loose. So werewolves were shapeshifters as well.
Absolutely.
With magic belts. Some legends maintain werewolves shapeshifted at will due to a curse. Often state that they transform with the help of an enchanted sash. Oh, we've got an enchanted sash now. Or an enchanted cloak made of wolf pelt. Still others claim people became wolves after being scratched or bit by a werewolf.
Right.
Yep. If it's on Wikipedia, it must be true.
It's true. Now, have you seen those photos of the old-fashioned side shows, the old circus shows, where they always had the hairy man, the really hairy man that had hair all over his face, and they'd call him the werewolf.
And it's hypertrichosis.
And I feel really, really sorry for anyone who has that as an affliction, because it must be absolutely awful. But in the days that they used to make money out of these poor people, there would always be the hairy man or the werewolf in the sideshow. I know I was alive back then.
Right.
Right.
All right, can I keep going?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you. In many werewolf stories, a person only turns into a wolf when there's a full moon.
Oh.
And that theory may not be far-fetched. According to a study conducted at Australia's Calvary Martin Newcastle Hospital...
What? In our backyard?
Do you hear that, people?
They're doing work on werewolves?
They're doing werewolf studies at the
Don't
Martin
they have
Hospital.
anything better to do?
I bet this was in 2008 and 2009. Were the nuns still there then? That could explain a lot.
It may.
Anyway, according to a study... breaking my furniture. I'll just read that again. Australia's Calvary Martin Newcastle Hospital.
Yeah, go ahead.
A full moon brings out the beast in many humans. In Newcastle, yes.
Doesn't need a full moon.
Doesn't need a full moon, no.
Can be any night.
The study found that of the 91 violent acute behaviour incidents at the hospital between August 2008 and July 2009, 23% happened during a full moon.
Wow.
Now, how many full moons do we have in a year? 12, 13, thereabouts?
Yes, 13.
So there's 365 days in the year. Knock off 15 odd days or less or more, less. That's 350 other days of the year. So to have 23% fall on a full moon, that's a big chunk. And I remember watching the hospital TV shows as well. They'd always say, oh, watch out, it's a full moon, the crazies will be out. But the Calvary Martyr Hospital does have a psychiatric unit, so I suppose they would have seen more of their fair share there.
And I'm sure we've got some nurses on right now who can attest to the fact that when a full moon is up, that their patients and the everyone that comes into the hospital, that's when it's full. That's when it's full.
I like that. Yep. Oh, Jose. Are you a hairy beast, are you, Jose?
You keep promising us that photo.
Keep that manscaping happening. If we end up with a naked photo of Jose, I am not going to be happy, Renata.
Oh, come on, Jose. You can't.
No, don't.
You can't. You just can't tease us like this.
Okay, and send it to her email, please. info@newcastleghosttours.com.au.
Well, that's appropriate.
Yeah, patients attacked staff and displayed wolf-like behaviours such as biting, spitting and scratching. Although many were under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time, it was Newcastle, it's unclear why they became intensely violent when the moon was full.
Belinda says they all need worming tablets that fix them, I reckon.
They've got an infestation.
Well, you know that's actually a sign of
It is possession. What is it again? There's infestation, something in possession. I can't remember them all. God, I've done the course. I should know. I'll remember when I'm after I've done this. So are werewolves real? What do you reckon? Are they real? Yes or no? Put your answer in the box. Not my box, but that box. The werewolf phenomena may have a medical explanation.
Uh-huh. Here we go.
Take Peter the Wild Boy, also from Newcastle. No. In 1725, he was found wandering naked on all fours through a German forest. Many thought he was a werewolf, or at least raised by wolves. Peter ate with his hands and couldn't speak. He eventually adopted by the courts of King George I and King George II and lived out his days as their pet in England.
Oh, God.
May have been raised by wolves. I think wolves are much kinder than humans.
Jeanette says there used to be a lady who lived in the next street from us who used to howl at the full moon. That's not a bad thing to do. That was at Bonny Hills near Port Macquarie. Yeah.
Okay.
And Lorraine says, yeah, we all used to look at each other when I worked in ED and say, full moon, crazies will be out tonight. We are all going to get busier than usual. And guaranteed we were right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I've got to get back up to where I was. Researchers have shown Peter likely had pit Hopkins syndrome, a condition discovered in 1978 that causes lack of speech, seizures, distinct facial features, difficulty breathing, and intellectual challenges. Other medical conditions that may have encouraged werewolf mania throughout history are lycanthropy, a rare psychological condition that causes people to believe they're changing into a wolf or other animals.
Mm-hmm.
Food poisoning. Food poisoning?
I don't know what they were eating.
Hypertrichosis, which is the one you were talking about, the hair, excessive hair growth.
Yep.
Rabies.
Yes, yes. I remember lots of movies like about 30, 40 years ago where they were talking about rabies. And if you were bitten by a bat, you'd turn into a werewolf.
Hallucination caused by hallucinogenic herbs.
Herbs.
Mm-hmm. So throughout the centuries, people have used werewolves and other mythic beasts to explain the unexplainable. In modern times, however, belief in werewolves is nothing more than what you see in the popular TV shows, movies, and other horror things. YouTube. I was actually in a video clip, and I was trying to remember the name of it. It's an Australian band, and we filmed it at the cemetery near the turn off to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. What's the one in North Sydney? We went there and we walked through it not long ago. It's not. Is it not Waverley? That's the other one. It's like near the Gore Freeway, Gore Hill Cemetery. And it was about a werewolf, and they actually had this amazing werewolf costume, and a young girl that was like Heidi or Little Red Riding Hood running around with this giant werewolf, and I was a hillbilly with a knife going, kill the beast. Surprise. Still, werewolves have a cult following. Werewolf sightings are reported each year, and werewolf legends will likely to continue to haunt the dreams of people throughout the world.
And look, I do have to say that probably in some of those Eastern European countries, the whole werewolf supernatural phenomena, I think, still kind of hides in those forests, and sometimes really they do lend themselves to those weird and wonderful things coming up, and still being talked about.
I will reveal to you, now please, if there's any kiddies that are watching, now is the time to turn their little ears and eyes away. The other Urban Dictionary of the Angry Werewolf.
She can't help herself. Okay.
I'm going to try and
anyone who might be offended or hasn't yet been offended may be offended shortly. So I'm just warning you.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do it without using the actual words, just so you get the idea.
Hello, Philippa.
So,
are you new? I'm
Philippa,
sorry.
I'm really sorry. I'm about to be really grotty. We're talking about werewolves, and this is one from the Urban Dictionary, which I just had to share with you. So the angry werewolf is actually a sexual act.
Oh. I think I know. I think I might know where this is going.
Please tell me what you think it is.
No.
But if I just go...
No.
Right, okay, so you got the idea. Right, well, that's happening, right? And all of a sudden, the person with the pen pulls it out, and the ink goes all over the other person who's really close to them. And
That's hard to get off your shirt.
I know. And then
ink stains.
And then they throw a handful of hair over their face to give them an angry wolf-like appearance. Careful, honey. I'll give you the angry werewolf.
Where's the hair? Which
right
hair?
Here. They must have really long pubes, is all I can say.
The long hair?
So they apparently throw the pubes onto their face and go, watch out, honey, I'll give you the angry werewolf.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that with you to kind of figure out and get this visual in your head so that you can try and work that one out.
Yeah, I'm just going to look it up on... You work it out yourself.
No, don't look it up on YouTube.
You can read it out yourself. You can work it out. I think... Now, I've taken up 39 minutes, Renata.
That's just... No, take it away. That's just awful. That's just awful.
Hope you enjoyed my story on werewolves.
Now, I'm going to press the golden button just so that we close off this first part of tonight's little
Shut up.
extravaganza.
Just spilt the jungle juice. Can you pass me Auntie Beryl's smelly tissues rather quickly, please?
Hang in there. Stay with us. There's been an accident.
Yeah, we've got an angry face. Watch out, we're in trouble.
Uh-oh. Someone gave us an angry
there
face.
There is Seneca and ammonia everywhere, and it's gone over my my joking hazard cards. Oh boy, this smells really bad. So, come on in. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. That was clever, Justin. All right. Phil, Renata, Phil, why don't you try and clean this up? Phil, no, it's getting worse.
Dear, I can't.
All right.
I'm going to be talking about Willow Court Asylum shortly. If you have been to Willow Court Asylum, let us know in the comments. Yeah, let us know if you've been and what you experienced there, because my part is actually quite small, short. So we're going to do a little bit of a filler afterwards.
Oh, that's if we've got time, because I've actually gone for a big chunk. A big chunk.
So, yes. Oh, by the way, in between time, have you all... What's happened to my page?
I have no idea what she's doing.
Trying to find my page. Oh my God, I've lost my page.
Now, do you all know that the frightfully good Australian online paranormal conference is coming up on the 11th and 12th of July. You can buy tickets on Eventbrite. Half of all the proceeds are going to two local charities, which is the Cedar Creek Wombat Sanctuary and the Where Pigs Fly Farm Animal Sanctuary. So we really need people to get on board. There is not enough people who have signed up.
No, we've got more speakers than people that have signed up at the moment.
We've gone past that now. We've actually got more people, but not enough. Nowhere near enough to all these gorgeous people who are giving their time. And so you can watch these at any time for a whole year. You don't have to be home on the weekend of the 11th and 12th of July. That information will be there for ages. And you can watch it. And it's going to be fun. They're going to be talking about ghost hunting in Australia and how they do things and things to look out for and ghost stories that they've had. And
yeah, we've got the gorgeous Karina Mercado, who's going to be talking about her books on all about the people that she's interviewed that have had long discussions with their dearly departed loved ones. We also have a very interesting lady that's going to be doing a talk on some work that she's doing with mediums and psychics and looking at how the mind and the brain changes when you get into that zone of tapping into the unconscious. So that's going to be absolutely fascinating. We're hoping to have someone from New Zealand who will be on as well to talk. We have Charmaine Mansfield from Tasmania's Most Haunted. We have Alison O'Bourne from Haunted Horizons. And we have Amy Script. We have Amy from Amy Script who's going to be talking about some of the wonderful things that she's experienced on her adventures. So
Sarah from Living Life in the Full Spectrum.
Sarah, yes, who just writes the most amazing things. Jen and Jeanette,
who never come on for anything like this, so we're excited they're going to come on and talk.
And yes, Belinda, you can watch afterwards. It's going to be on a dedicated private Facebook page only for those that have paid to come onto the event, and you can watch it at any time for a full year afterwards.
Now, Suzanne, Tours in the Blue Mountains, look up Paranormal Pete with the Blue Mountains Mystery Tours. Is that what he does?
Yes.
He's got so many ghost tours up that way. So
and he goes for like 4.5, 5 hours. Once you're in that bus, he won't let you out.
I haven't done
takes you everywhere.
Tours. I want to do
Oh
one
my
of those.
God, it's just like forever, and he'll take you everywhere. So it is one of the most amazingly valued tours ever.
Shall we get on with this one?
Yes, let's talk now about our second subject for the letter W in the ABC of Paranormal Strangeness, and it is about Willow Court Asylum in Tasmania, and precisely New Norfolk in Tasmania. So who's been? Have any of you been to Willow Court? If you haven't, once we can start travelling again, please, please, please get out to Willow Court and see Charmaine Mansfield and book a ghost tour with Tasmania's Most Haunted. It is one of the most amazing places we have ever been to. We went last year. Didn't we? Last year or the year before?
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it was last year. It was February last year.
Yeah, we did a workshop there.
Jeanette, can you private message us? Because that is actually something we'd be really interested in.
Absolutely, Jeanette.
Please.
Yes. And especially right now, Jeanette.
Right now, it's important right now.
Yeah. So let me give you a little bit of a lowdown on Willow Court. So it was called the New Norfolk Hospital for the Insane, and it was not actually built as a lunatic asylum. It was rather from a need to house the insane amongst the convict population, because as you know, where is Tasmania? It's that little tidbit that hangs off the end of Australia. The big continent, the big bit. I'm going to offend so many people right now.
I know, I used to do when I was in Tassie, I'd go, yeah, back in Australia. They're going, we are Australia. And I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, you keep forgetting about that.
I remember I made the biggest mistake when the first time I was ever travelling to Tasmania, and I'm ringing up about accommodation and I'm saying, hello, my name is Renata Daniel and I'm here in Newcastle, Australia. And then I realised what I'd said and I just hung up. Sorry, we're not staying there. I'm just too embarrassed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an amazing weekend, and two of our lovely volunteers hooked up there.
They did.
We knew what was happening.
They got married.
So the town of New Norfolk was located, and still is located, about 22 miles from what was to become, or what is now, the capital of Tasmania, Hobart. Situated on the River Derwent, the town is accessible, or was accessible then, by boat and by road. In 1827, it was decided to use the invalid barracks at New Norfolk for all of the colony's invalids. Due to poor conditions in the two-room building, Dr. Robert Officer, the district surgeon in charge of the establishment, requested a new building to be built. A positive reply was received. An officer and the police magistrate of New Norfolk, Mr. W.H. Hamilton, sought aside and prepared a plan for the proposed hospital. So this is the longest running and largest insane hospital in the Southern Hemisphere.
They used to call them really horrible names. They didn't call them insane hospitals. They used to call them like hospitals for the retarded and things like that. They were just really not nice. Imbeciles, that's what it was. Imbeciles. I hate that.
That's right. So they had vegetable gardens there, and it was built on 4 acres. Now, I found a couple of interesting things about the hospital. There was at one time 100 women resident there, and they had to use 2 small yards of less than a quarter acre each. The adjoining 3-acre paddock was forbidden to them. So, of course, you know what happens to women. All those women that are insane because they have spoken back to their husbands.
Yes, let's go on.
They have refused to, do the laundry, or they've spoken back, or,
Or they refused to have sex.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you are insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah,
hot.
Your husband could call the police and get you taken away, first of all, to jail. And then, of course, once you went to jail, the magistrate said, she's insane. And yes, off you went.
They used to have a little contraption that would help women with his
no, we're not going there tonight. We're not going there. No. And so the male division had a walled garden of a quarter acre. 2 small enclosed yards of a quarter acre each were in use for unquiet inmates, and a small area in front of the hospital was used for quiet and convalescent inmates. There was no classification of the inmates inside the wards. So
I know where we would have been.
Yeah, all the ones inside the wards were treated exactly the same way. And if you had a little bit of money, because some convicts did, they weren't all poor. They, had maybe a little bit of a better place in the asylum. I know Charmaine would know so much about this, so we have to get her on and get her to talk about this during our online conference. June 11th and 12th. Buy your tickets now. Anyway, a detached building for men of refined habits and education.
Courtney's got it. She's worked out how to cure it.
Had been recently built against the east wall of the male side. This prevented persons for higher rank from mixing with pauper patients. Having to use the same quality of utensils and tables.
Slowly going backwards. I'll just show my flabby arms off to everyone there. Watch that. Ooh.
And from sharing the prison diet. In their own building, they could have the comforts of a home. It is interesting that the Victorians associated the ability to appreciate a home environment with social class, and seems more a way to reinforce a sense of social superiority than having any basis in reality. So things changed over time, and at first with the asylum, they just put everyone in. Oh, he pressed the wrong button. They put everybody in of any type. Of course, they were all convicts in the early years, but of course the insane asylums changed in the Victorian era. So going into the late 1800s and early 1900s, it was all about class. And if you were poor, you went in with what they believed were the dregs of society that couldn't afford anything. And if you had a little bit of money but you were insane, and of course there were a lot of very educated and upper class men who would get very, very bored of their wives, and then all of a sudden that poor wife would be sent to the asylum so they could pick up a new wife that was a lot younger and prettier. And so the old bag was sent away to the asylum, and because she had money or her husband supported her to stay away, she may have had better accommodation.
And someone may need to explain to Suzanne what the eggplant icon emoji is about.
Yes.
Yeah, Courtney basically came up with it there. Dildos. Penises. That's the cyber world's answer to drawing a penis, is they put an eggplant.
So during the 1850s, it was taken over by the colonial government, and from then on, numbers of inmates expanded rapidly as penal institutions started to close down across the colony, and the invalids were all sent up to the hospital. So this is again this matter of getting rid of people that have really nowhere else to go, and so again they're all sent to the insane asylums. The hospital was closed in the late 2000s as a smaller community-sided care institute proceeded rapidly. The hospital could no longer be funded by the Tasmanian state government.
It worked.
So today parts of the hospital site are currently sitting derelict, and they have been the subject of a great deal of vandalism and badly damaged in arson attacks in January 2008
Asshole attacks, not arson
and
attacks.
December 2010. Further pieces of the site have been sold to private ownership and have been reopened as a tourist drawcard with a motel, 2 cafes, various boutique stores and 2 antique stores.
Yeah, the motel, I didn't actually stay there, but it looked a little worn. But it is, apparently it's part of the asylum. Could I just get you to pass me that glass with the fluid in there, please? Thank you. That's my aspirin I forgot to take.
I'm going to read a piece that appeared in the ABC News when people from Tasmania's Most Haunted took part in the National Ghost Hunting Day.
Oh, yes,
Probably
that's right.
A year or 2 years ago. So Leading the effort was Tasmania's Most Haunted, a group made up of ghost hunters, who a few of them were Emma Percy, Stan Hurd, and Charmaine Mansfield. Each said they had either seen or felt the presence of paranormal activity and hoped to change the minds of skeptics through their investigations. Miss Percy said Willow Court in New Norfolk was home to several spirits connected to various objects and areas at the site. The abortion chair, we believe, has a spirit attached to it named Sarah.
I saw the abortion chair. It was more.
Verified by 3 psychic mediums, she said, as she ushered a group of curious onlookers through the morgue. We've spent time in the morgue.
We did.
Once that door closes, it's pretty scary.
And they were saying that from the Port Arthur tragedy, that actually some of the bodies from that were stored in that morgue.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh. Ghost hunter Stan Hurd believes a nasty doctor haunts the old morgue. I remember that. I remember doing an experiment to try and bring through the doctor.
The Paranology's gear, the triboelectric ones,
yes,
were
it was
going nuts.
crazy.
And I hardly ever see them go off, so it was interesting to see them go.
Yes. So Emma says it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, as spirits don't just appear. It doesn't work like that. The group believes the morgue is also home to the spirit of an unnamed doctor. Mr. Hurd said he had experienced negative encounters with the doctor, claiming to feel extremely angry and uncomfortable in the spirit's presence. Didn't we have to remove one lady from in there because she went slightly...
I think so.
Slightly...
She was affected.
Yeah. Slightly...
Please don't say batshit crazy, because no,
right, okay.
affected.
The doctor up in the morgue is a nasty individual, and I haven't had any experiences that have been good, said Mr. Hurd. When you're lying down on the slab in there, you can feel him touching you on the leg or behind the neck.
Ew.
So the group said building a relationship with spirits was important, and they used recording devices to establish communication. We can't force them to answer our questions. We've just got to try our best to create a relationship with them that works, said Mr. Hurd. The Facebook Connected Seance on Sunday asked 3 questions of the believed spirits residing in the female cottage. We also went to the female cottage. And up there was a room that they wouldn't allow me in. I had to stand outside.
And when we say they, we're not talking about Tasmania's Most Haunted team. It was the ghosts.
Yes. I got up to the room, to the doorway, and I just could not go in. I had all of these voices saying, "What do you think you're doing? You are not allowed."
And we had the spirit box going at the same time, if I remember correctly.
Yes. And it said something like, "Don't enter," or "Go away," or something like that. So I had to actually wait. I had to wait until I was given permission to go into that room.
And there was a backing up on the spirit box that actually said you could enter the room or something. I can't remember the words.
Yep.
I think Christy was there. She might remember what it was.
Yep. Absolutely. So I'll just keep going with this. We wanted to know, what do we look like to you? How do you experience time? And how can we improve contact? They were really good questions. There was no immediate response, but Tasmania's Most Haunted members believed the input of energy from around the world would foster responses from ghosts in the future. How good is that? So Tasmania's Most Haunted runs tours at Willow Court all the time. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm not sure whether they are available to be running the tours, whether the tours have started yet. I know that Charmaine did quite a few lives from Willow Court, all on her own, blessed soul. I think her hubby went in there just to look after her while she was doing her lives. And it was very, very, very scary to watch her during those evenings. So it's quite a place.
I'll have a look on here and see if I can find it. See if they're back up and running yet. But there's different parts of the Willow Court Asylum that we worked in. We ran some workshops there one day, and that was in the officers' quarters or something like that. Yeah. And we had some really weird experiences over the other side of that horseshoe-shaped area. Now, that was what she called the Dark Asylum, wasn't it? So do you
Yes.
remember where the old X-ray machine was?
No, I can't.
Oh my God.
But I have to tell you, we did one experiment in there where we got everyone on headphones, and all we put through the headphones was white noise. So there was no talking, no radio chatter. It was just white noise. And we asked everyone to go into a deep channeling trance, listening to this white noise, and experience what it would have been like to be an inmate. And the results that we were getting were off the rails. It was incredible. And we actually again had to take one or two people outside
One of them
and
being Chris.
reground them
Yeah.
because they just were taken over by these energies that were still there, still lingering. So it's an absolutely crazy sight. If you get the opportunity, guys, to head over to Tasmania, don't just go to Port Arthur. Head to New Norfolk, which is not that
So
far.
this is Charmaine's page. I'll try and get that up there with the Tasmania's Most Haunted. So make sure you get over to there and like that one as well.
Yeah.
And keep an eye out for the tours. We will go back. We will probably go back next year.
We're hoping to.
Belinda said Tassie 2021. I'm thinking, well, why not?
Yeah. That may be the only place we can go. Might be the only place we can go. Absolutely. Oh, look at the time. It's 8:30.
Time flies when you're having fun.
So, yes, our small little piece on Willow Court, and a reminder that we will have Charmaine Mansfield on as one of our guest speakers during our online paranormal conference
I
in
think
a
it's
few
only
weeks'
3.5 weeks
Yeah.
away now.
And she will tell you more about the history and some of the goings on, the ghostly goings on at Willow Court, because it is a superb place for ghost hunters to explore. Absolutely. Just going to turn off our recording.
Voila!
Voila. And yeah, there we are for
Tomorrow morning we're going to be on the Rev Sean Whittington show. 11 a.m. our time. We'll be on in, I think it's Nevada. I think it's 5 p.m. Sunday Nevada time. He's interviewing us. We have a lot of fun with the Rev. He is a minister and an exorcist and lots of prayers and everything, but he is so open-minded to all beliefs. He doesn't block us because we don't believe in a sort the way he does. That's fine by him. He's really enjoy interviews with the Rev.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Lovely
he
guy.
Really is. Really,
and
really
I think
is.
we're going to go to Ireland with him next May.
He's got a family castle in Scotland, the Whittington Castle. Can't wait to go.
Yeah, well, we're not going there. We're going to...
Well, he might invite us. Who knows?
I get an invite. Look, my fright fleek was different to your fright fleek.
I know.
Anyway.
So, guys, thank you so much for once again joining us. We're almost at the end of the ABC of Paranormal Strangeness. We're up to WX. Is X the next letter? WXYZ, yeah. XYZ.
Can't talk about X-Files?
And then...
I love the X-Files.
Then it will be something very, very different. So if you think it's done, no, it's not. We're just beginning, guys. So
we're beginning all over again.
Make sure that you stay tuned to Monday nights at 7:30 when the Frightfully Good girls will be back. I'm done.
You're done?
Yep.
I was going to say bye. Be good. See you on the dark side.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.